Hi, friends. My name is Derek, and my steak is Salisbury. I think it's fair to say that's a question every person must ask themselves at some point during their life. Is my steak Salisbury? Today, the answer is yes. It's not always yes. Sometimes my steak is not Salisbury, but today it is. I'm not ashamed of that. And you shouldn't be either. If you're a Salisbury steak eater like me, don't be ashamed to say yes. My steak is Salisbury, and that's okay. It's even okay if you want to prefer Salisbury steak over regular steak. Good question, Bacon. Good question. Well, I will say that I typically eat faster than anybody I eat with. I'm always the first one done. I could be accused correctly, probably, of shoveling my food down rather than tasting it properly. Mostly, I guess I'm trying to free up my mouth again for talking some more. Probably. Free up that mouth. We've got more talking to do. You better free up that mouth, mister. You've got yammering, you've got spitting, you've got shit jabbering, you got all kinds of talking things to do. Most importantly, though, I want you, Bacon, to stop avoiding the core question, which of course is your steak Salisbury? No, I don't need to lose any weight. I can't hardly put any weight on no matter what I eat. Please excuse the dead air while I chew. I don't intend you to burden you with this boring part, but you know, I gotta stop running from the truth. My steak is Salisbury. Okay? I'm no longer ashamed to admit it. My steak is Salisbury. I'm eating it anyway. Now I'm gonna pull another bong rep, which is like my first bong rep post nap. I just took a long nap after my earlier live stream, which I desperately needed. That earlier live stream really wore me out. And now it's time to rip the bong, as they say. Okay, here we go. So let's say, hi, Judgmental JJ. Let's say that you are somebody who doesn't know yet how to rip the bong properly. I'm here to teach you. That's what I do. I'm a teacher. I teach. This is called the bowl. You can see it's got a hole all the way through it. It's a drop bowl. Yeah, you can see it. If you're worried that it might be a little clogged, you can always get your poker and poke it out once or twice, like this. Always a good idea. And you're going to put the weed right there in the bowl like that. Then put the bowl in the bung. And if you want to make it extra juicy, you can put a little bit of this concentrate on top of it. It's a good idea. So I'm going to take a little chunk of this Northern Lights crumble here. Put that right on top like that. I'm so gaffed for being like, yay, Rachel Lapalosa's here. I love my beloved Rachel Lapalosa. She's here, everybody. She is my lump meat angel cake. What they do is they take freshly slaughtered angels and they lump the meat and they form it together into delicious angel lump cake. It's basically like crab cakes, but made out of angels. Hi, Maddie Sanchez. Here we go. Large chunks of freshly slaughtered angel dipped in batter and deep fried. Tastes a lot like tofu. You'd be surprised. Anyway, one day I was looking in my treasure chest map for a treasure chest, and I found an X, and I dug, and underneath the ground there was a treasure chest full of amazing jewels in perfect perfection, and its name was Rachel Lapalosa. That's my pirate story. I'm a gaff pirate for Rachel Lapalosa. She's my booty. What's another name for pirate's treasure? Why, I say it's booty. It's booty. It's booty. What is the point of references for scholarships and such? Everyone only includes people who will speak highly of them. All it seems to achieve is weeding out the schizoids from applying. Well, I suppose it's possible you'd find somebody who doesn't have anybody to make a personal reference for them. But I guess you could maybe distinguish between levels of gush, or basically you can see who has got intellectuals vouching for them and who writes better about the person they're vouching for. So I was very smart this morning. My client texted me to confirm 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. And really quickly, I pushed confirmed, and I sent it back to her. And then I put my phone away. So then by the time I woke up from my nap, it was too late for me to do that extra hour she wanted me to do. And I hadn't seen the text yet. I'm just like, sorry, I just saw this text. It's true, too. That's thinking. That is thinking, is what that is. That's called How to Be Lazy 101. Not my fault. I didn't see those texts. I answered your first text. I confirmed it. Yeah, all the time. All the time, Bacon. I was a teacher for a long time. And I guess I still am. But it's funny, I don't consider coaching being the same as teaching. But yeah. I fill those things out all the time. I also put down by as a reference by a lot of adults for jobs and stuff. Like my former coach, Denise Kimball. No, the people who ask me, they know I love them already. You know, it's like Kimball was a former assistant coach of mine. She was also a former state champion in policy debate. Same year as I was debating. She was a very slabby person, and I thought for such time that maybe I was supposed to be with her. But we never actually got physical at all. And I was married for part of the time, so I wasn't going to do anything like that. But, you know, Candace was on her way out. You could link it here if you want. I'll make you a moderator briefly. You can link it and then I'll unmoderator you. So now you have the power to post a link if you want. Regimental JJ. The thing is, my take on it is no internal monologue simply means extroverted intuition polar. So if you're an ISTP or an ISFP, you probably have very little internal monologue, and you think words are, you can easily be overwhelmed by too many words, especially ISFPs. I typed a lot of ISFPs, and after about 30 minutes into the typing session, they're wearing out, and 40 minutes in, they're done. You know, they bought an hour. Why? They are all full of words. All I have to give them is words. And I'm just like, okay, it's just too many words. It's almost impossible for you to get me to say that's too many words. I mean, that's not true, actually. If you post a super long comment or something, I'll just be like, that's too many words. I'm not going to read all that shit. But if we're trying to solve a problem or answer a question or something, it's not possible to have too many words thrown at that thing. Meowity meow. Meowity meow.
A few days ago, I found out that not everyone has an internal monologue. So what I mean by that is, like, they can't hear their thoughts, which I didn't believe to be true until I asked someone, and they said,
Interesting. How does this guy have so many views? He must be famous or something. He's got 2 million some odd views. Extroverted intuition is the process of talking out things, basically. Well, yeah, extremely poor spatial intelligence goes along with TE polar. TE backslot in general has poor spatial intelligence. I have poor spatial intelligence. I do a poor job of understanding the logic of different things in space, space objects in general. I don't like space objects. It's like, stop being so concrete. I'm going to drop you. I'm going to break you. I just don't like you. Stop being a space object, basically. The only space object that I really, really like is Rachel Lapalosa. But she's only half a space object. She's also half a time object and half a process inducer, namely an agent. So it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. She's 150% woman. That's what makes her so amazing. You're welcome, my precious angel. people who can't visualize things. I'm extremely bad at visualizing things, but I would guess that we probably correlate with either SE polar or NI polar. I'm not sure. I can visualize things somewhat a little bit, but I'm very bad at it. I have 5th slot NI and I've got 8th slot SI. I'd have to ask my dad. I'm curious about that, about his visualization ability and stuff. You know, he's 3rd slot NE, and you can really see 3rd slot NE at work. He's very into talking and very into not listening. You know, so a more nuanced understanding of NE is, I mean, I think the dominant type is the most nuanced for any given function. So the NE DOM, I think I have a fairly nuanced understanding of talking. Namely, I factor in the FE considerations. If I'm actually having a conversation with live human beings, I give the other person some space usually. I can be not perfect about that. That's the FE aspect of it. But my effective ability to use language to communicate in general goes along with being an NE DOM. Here we go. Time to smoke this bomb rip. Judgmental JJ, I am going to transubstantiate this bong rip to you. That means even though I'm doing all the smoking, you get all the impacts of it. Congratulations. If you're driving, you might want to pull over. This is pretty good weed. It's one of the reasons why beta quadra in general is so interesting. NI and SE naturally go together with TE and FI. NE and SI naturally go together with TI and FE. So you've got your crossover types, so to speak. Those that share the judging functions and don't share the perceiving functions are going to have some camaraderie together. Because, thank you, Judgmental JJ. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. People who share the judgment functions but don't share the perceiving functions are going to get along well, better than the opposite. And the reason is because what we call judgment functions are really manners of interacting with, manners of matters of like critique and interaction are concerns of your judgment functions and your interface functions. That's your TIFI and your TEFE. So when those are the same, you critique and interface the same way with the world. And that's kind of important to get along well. But the perceiving functions are a little different. From what I can tell, if you got like an INFJ and an ENTP, their perceiving functions end up kind of balancing each other out. So Rachel makes me a little more NI and a little less NE. I make her a little more NE, a little less NI. And on the other end of it, the sort of needful end of it, we both respect each other's limits in both SE and SI and try to help remember those. And that's really how it works. If you're an NE DOM, SI is your limits. If you're an NI DOM, SE is your limits. And vice versa, presumably, if you're an SE DOM or an SI DOM. But regardless, because our limits like cooperate like that, by which I mean I tend to overestimate my own ability to SE because I underestimate my own ability to SI. And I suspect the opposite is true of Rachel, that she tends to overestimate her ability to SI because she underestimates her ability to SE. I don't know why that would work that way, but it seems to be that, actually. I would say Rachel overestimates her own ability to SI. And so I've got to be careful to make sure that, and when she switches, it's over. Once her SI goes enough, then there's no switching back. And she underestimates her ability to SE. And that means she can usually do a little more than she would guess she would want to do necessarily. And she likes being pushed a little bit in that regard. A little bit. But for me, it's like, I think, oh, I could do that and that and that. And I don't know. I guess I just overestimate both. Maybe she underestimates both. I don't know. I think she overestimates her SI and she underestimates her SE, but I tend to overestimate both, my own SI and SE, I guess. Regardless, she makes me appropriately more cautious in my undertakings. Like, I'm less likely to go, hey, let's go hike up all the way up here because I don't want to get Rachel upset. I don't want to push her limits. She's afforded me trust in a certain amount of leadership. Like, if I say, I think we could do this and we'll have fun on this, she's going to probably trust me and go, all right, well, let's do it then. I better be fucking right. One lesson I learned was, don't suggest that Rachel's not going to need to bring a jacket. Always answer that sort of question like, you might as well. Yeah, bring it. Because then if she doesn't bring it and it's too cold, then now it's on me, Yeah, I can't visualize for shit based on description either, old mate McGrath. Not at all. That's a good point there's a good distinction you make there as well. It's like, my dad's always trying to do that. He's trying to describe shit to me, which I guess he expects me to visualize. Get away. Get away, fly. I guess I'm already full. It's like I haven't eaten anything today. I shouldn't be full by this little amount of food. I should eat the rest of it, but I'm just done. I'm gonna go throw this away now. Hi, kitty freshness pants. Listen, you guys. When one day you get a kitty that has truly fresh pants like mine, then you'll know what it means to have a kitty freshness pants. Until then, you can only wonder, wish, and hope. Okay, all right, I'll eat some food. Emergency, emergency, kitty's out of food. Emergency. All I have for you is tuna right now. You just have to be satisfied with this can of tuna. All right, kitty guys, there you go. Your cat's pants are not fresh enough to call your cat kitty freshness pants. Okay? They're kind of like yesterday's pants. Nobody who is truly on the cutting edge of fashion would wear your cat's pants, but everybody who's truly on the cutting edge of fashion would wear my cat's pants. That's why my cat is kitty freshness pants, and your cat is not. I wish we could have caught them in advance and brought them to Hawaii with us to feed to the spiders. We saw some great, amazing spiders in Hawaii. What we did not see was much spider food. I guess the spiders must eat all that already. Bacon, I want to thank you for making that correction. Thank you for that. See, somebody cares. Somebody understands what the important questions are. Was my steak Salisbury? Yes. Was bacon steak? No, it was brisket. And he cared enough to make that correction. Thank you. I spent a fair amount of time in Hawaii actually searching for bugs to feed to the spiders. Couldn't find a goddamn thing. We never did find anything to feed to the spiders. I thought about getting one of the little tiny fish from the tide pools and then trying to feed that to the spider, but it just seems like that'd be pushing it a little bit. I'm not sure if the spider's web could handle a fish too, you know, even if it was a very small fish. Like a guppy-sized fish, probably. I think a spider's web could eat a spider could eat a fish. Who thinks a spider could eat a fish? I do. I think a spider could eat a fish. I think so. I'm raising my hand. Call on me. Ooh, call on me. I know the answer. I vote yes, a spider could eat a fish. I want to see a very small spider eat a trout. A 6-pound trout. That would excite me. That would be exciting. Okay. Bacon says, yeah, okay, a tiny one. What do you think the 3 swords represent in the 3 of Swords tarot card? Well, I think they represent the insertion of a 3rd element into that which should possess 2 elements, namely that there should be, there's some sort of deal within 2 parties. Okay, there's like Joe and Bob have a deal. Larry comes into the mix and somehow gets colluding with Bob to take advantage of Joe. Well, that involves a betrayal. So it's like, for example, when I pulled that card in the past about the channel, the deal is supposed to be, I make media. If you like it, you participate in it or you watch it. If you don't like it, you don't. That's supposed to be the deal, right? The 3rd element that people bring in is spite, where they want to actively harm me because they dislike me so much. That's really not part of the deal here, I'm offering a product of sorts, and if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't. That's supposed to be the deal. The 3rd element that comes in is spite, and that's what betrays that deal, so to speak. So there's always a 3rd element that comes in that constitutes betrayal. It would be hard to stick the fish to the web. See, that's what I'm thinking too. I wonder if a wet fish sticks to a spider web. It's a good question. It's a question that too few people ask. I want to know. I'm sure there's a place somewhere in South America where there's like a pond, and the spider makes a web over the pond and waits for the little fish to jump up into their spider web, and it catches them and eats them. I bet you that happens somewhere in South America, like the Amazon jungle or something. It's like a pond canopy spider or something. They use their web to form an invisible canopy over the I mean, we don't know what kind of spider it was in Hawaii. I could Google that. What are those big black and gold spiders in Kona? What are those big black and yellow spiders near Kona? The garden spiders. The black and yellow garden spider. Kona Coast Pest Control. The black and yellow garden spiders they're commonly found in gardens and known to be completely harmless to humans, but they get quite large, these black and yellow garden spiders. Large black and yellow garden spiders. Known as the zigzag spider, the riding spider, the yellow garden spider, black and yellow garden spider, and they do make zigzags in their webs. For sure, I saw that zigzag in Hawaii. So anyway, they're quite big spiders. They were near our lanai. How big do they get? That's what I want to know. Males range from, females can be up to 28 millimeters in size. These spiders may bite if disturbed or harassed, but the venom is harmless to non-allergic humans, roughly equivalent to a bumblebee sting in intensity. Well, that's actually pretty. They do have a bite to them then. They're not completely harmless. In a nightly ritual, the spider consumes the circular interior part of the web and then rebuilds it fresh each morning with new silk. The radial framework and anchoring lines are usually not replaced when the spider rebuilds the web. Huh. Their venom contains a library of polyamine toxins with potential as therapeutic medicinal agents. Notable among these is argiotoxin 636. Fun. Prey includes small vertebrates such as geckos. Well, you know, that's cool because we saw geckos on that tree. I didn't know that the spider could eat them. Anoles, which are another kind of lizard, and insects. So I bet you they could eat a fish. If they can eat a gecko, they can eat a fish. Yeah. So Rachel and I spent quite a bit of time looking at those spiders in Hawaii, talking about those spiders. I spent quite a bit of time looking for bugs to feed those spiders. I never was able to find anything to feed them. I should have gotten a little fish like I wanted to there. And you know what? Dad's out of town. He's gone to Vegas. So I got both doors wide open. I got the fan on. I'm going to live really, really, really large now. Okay. A good point there. Good point, Bacon. What if I wanted to feed the spider a fish? What I need to do is catch a fish and a gecko, feed the fish to the gecko, then feed the gecko to the spider. You're thinking. I'm gonna smoke in the house. Yeah, I'm smoking in my little house out here. Eric's little house, they call it. I'm gonna smoke out here in my little house. Should I? Maybe not. Maybe. Nobody knows. This is America. Okay? I'm an American with a cigarette. I'm going to smoke it right here in this little house. America style. That's a good, hearty American Marlboro Red cigarette. It's the kind of cigarette that makes you want to go, yeah, America. I bet you they grew this coffee in America too. It tastes so good, it's got to be American. I guarantee you this. They had to have made the non-dairy creamer in America. Because what makes coffee taste its creamy and bestest? Non-dairy creamer. What else is creamy and bestest? America. America is part of your soul, female EHP, part of your spirit. America is that birthmark right in the center of your forehead. America is that thing that smells stuff on the front of your face. America is those two sexy buttons on either side of your chest. That's what America is. America. Randy? He seems like kind of a little SFJ-ish, I guess. I don't know which kind. Milk steak boiled over hard with a side of raw jelly beans. That's America. Is your steak Salisbury? The answer by Peter Dinshishi is no. It ain't. It's chicken fried. Like chicken. Well said, Peter. Well said, sir. You are a lettered man. There's no denying that. I like my men like my postal service. Lettered. Well documented. Oh, my wonderful kitty friend. Why? Why are you so wonderful? Did you take wonderful pills this morning? I think my kitty friend took wonderful pills this morning. Well, that's a specious response, Isaiah Rude, if you're trying to suggest that that implies anything. Okay? You're not the moremost tidiest, is correct. I have no Fallout references, no. Listless, wonderful. I love Listless. I do Listless so well. I was doing Listless earlier today. Lying here on the old futonaroo, resting, being listless. It's a listless Sunday. But are you the least most listless is the question. I like being the least most things. It's good. Utter steak. No, that kind of steak's not okay. You can't eat utter steak, Brittany. Everybody knows that it tastes too much like udders. You can't eat that. Udder steak. No. That's gross. Ew. Listlessness. My listlessness is, you know what I'm not listless. I have listlessness. Okay? If I were listless, why would I have so much listlessness? Listlessness. You're my butter steak too, Rachel Apolosa. You're my steak made on the barbecue, dipped in butter, and rubbed in your loving love all the time. Forever. plus a trillion billion years. Mental medalist of listlessness? I don't know about that, Peter Dentici. Now you are getting a little ridiculous. Analystlessness. Oh, that's when you're without any analysts? Our analystlessness is increasing listlessness, except for Joe, whose listlessness establishes a lack of listlessness. I agree. If you ever move to New York, you'll be spending twice as much per pack on cigarettes. Well, Hambone, that's a good reason not to move to New York, I guess. That must be how they pay for all the free health care. Yeah, I do think, Judgmental JJ, that analysts, meta-analysts are more useful quadras than socionics quadras because, well, I mean, I don't know why. It's like funny. I haven't really thought about it a whole lot. There's one of those ideas that, I come up with in a moment and make a video about it and then kind of just forget about it. I haven't really thought about it much. It's kind of one of the problems of being an ENTP. I tend to do shit like that. You probably thought about it more than I have. I appreciate that, by the way, a great deal. But yeah, it's a shame. I should think about things like that more. I agree. It was a cool thing to notice. It was always there. That's the other cool thing. It's like I always had the metaphysical and physical ties. I just never thought about organizing them like that before. When I close my eyes, do I see a grainy black or a solid black? I have all these like light bars and little dots and there's all kinds of crazy shit going on. And none of it makes any sense. It's not like images or anything. It's just like, yeah, it's grainy. It's very grainy. But I'll tell you something. That's one of those things that happens from doing drugs. I noticed that when it was happening way back when, that you get static when you close your eyes when you do drugs, once you've done a certain amount of drugs. Are you the least loose, listless, last lice licker of the least lesson liking piss lists of all the listless lists? It's good to know. Closing your eyes, you have white circles that are going bigger after some time. They get colorful stars. Oh, I need hugs. Oh no, Isaiah Rude needs hugs. But I will tell you this, Judgmental JJ. I am going to go back on drugs this upcoming week, probably late in the week, I would guess Thursday or Friday. And when I do, what you're going to see is a whole new level of enthusiasm. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to be what's known as an enthusiastic Earl. Big yikes? Oh, God. Don't yikes me. You make me sad. I have my ADHD medication. I have a little cycle I go on. You see, Judgmental JJ. When I go back on cycle, I have a little burst of productivity. Towards what will that productivity be directed? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, including me. It's always a surprise when I find out. Where did Short Butt disappear to? I missed my punching bag. Will you stop, Hambone? That's the sort of stuff that gets you in trouble with YouTube, mister. Do you want to get in trouble with YouTube? Do you? Is that what you want? Ham bone? Will my antidepressants do anything I can't tell? Well, how depressed are you? There's no point. Don't even bother snorting Ritalin. First of all, let me just say, if you're gonna snort crushed up amphetamine pills, I've got a better idea for you. Just go ahead and boof them. Basically the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and recommend not looking at the sun at all. Not directly anyway. Don't look directly into the sun. If you do, you will turn to poo. Oh, ham bone. Why do you got to push the limits of YouTube? Huh? Why you got to do it? Well, Ampy Neck, I can tell you, it's not good for your eyes. You should not look at the sun. Also, don't put your face into a cauldron full of magma. If you've ever tried bobbing for apples in magma, boofing is when you put a pill up your butt, up your butthole. Take your finger, you put the pill on the end of your finger, and you push your finger up your butthole like this. That's called boofing. Because the inside of your butthole is like the inside of your nose. It's like a membrane or something. I don't know. So anyway, that's just as good pretty much as snorting, but a lot less painful. It doesn't make your butthole hurt, but it makes your nose hurt a lot. So, you know, of course, you could probably relieve the that's good advice, Randy. It's good advice. Anyway, so like basically, if you decide, I don't like the way this incredibly painful crushed up pill feels when I snort it in my nose, just put the pill up your butt instead. It's faster, it's easier. It's the thing that makes there be a rush when you snort it is really the incredible like awfulness of all this toxic shit flying under your mucous membrane, making you go ah. It's like eating super hot food. Makes you feel better, but only when you're done eating it. And you know some helpful things about body language? Yeah, this, not a good sign if you're trying to pick up on a chick. She's doing this to you. That usually means she's not buying it. It's not working, you know. This, not good. Not a good sign. This, that's a good sign if you get that one. If you're going up to a chick trying to pick up on her or whatever, and she's like, that's a good sign. I'm giving you lots of information. If she goes like this, then she's interested in what you're saying. Okay. if she does that, you're in. You're in like Flynn. I do have one thing definitely to tell you. It's true. This is something I've learned from experience in life. If a girl goes like this, "You're so funny," and touches you on the shoulder, you're in. It's true. that one is true. Okay? I've learned that in my life. That's a good sign. Anytime a girl goes, "You're so funny," and touches you on the shoulder, well, I mean, you're in then, dog. You're in. That's a sure. That's like, that's 100% sure. If a girl says, "You're so funny," and touches you on the shoulder, that's like 99.9% sure. And I got some advice for how to transition from not macking to macking. Okay, here's the advice. Let's say this is the chick. Let's say you're at the beach and you're kind of over here, you know. Well, I'm going to tell you how to do it. "Oh, let's stop here, Bobby, and look at the sunset, okay?" Now, look, you got some options. You're walking here. Okay, we're going to stop and look. You could come up and stand behind her. No, bad idea. Gonna make her feel threatened. Not a good idea. You could walk around like this and be like, "I'm coming straight at you." No, too risky. Too risky. You don't want to take that approach, okay? You could be like this. You could go in front of her and back up into her. Bad idea. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to back up into her. She's going to think you're weird. You could go stand right next to her like this. No, don't touch her. Don't go stand up and touch. Don't go stand and touch her. Instead, you go stand close to her. Too close to her, but not touching her. Okay? And you don't touch her. And you just sort of, "Yeah, isn't the sunset so beautiful? Look at the sun. It's going into the water. Like it's going to splash down into there." And then you know, you'll say some sort of, you can even set her up easy by giving her a softball. Make a little joke. What's she going to do? What's she going to do once you make that joke in that setting? Guaranteed, she's going to say, "You're so funny," and put her hand on you. Guaranteed. That's how it works. Okay? That's the drill. That's how you know. Then it's time to be like, "Ooh la la, ooh la la," like that. Ooh la la. Okay? That's how you do it. Those are my PUA rules, right? Don't walk straight at her. Don't back up into her. Don't come up from behind her. Go stand from the side. It's kind of like side shuffle next to her, you know? Oh, you got it with the ooh la la. Are you kidding me? It doesn't work without a little ooh la la. Yeah. And you got to move your head like this. So you're tough, you know? She'll be like, "Do you have Parkinson's disease?" Am I right, ladies? Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Am I right about the sunset, though? You go stand next to her, but don't touch her, and you just wait. I got that from an ESFJ, so it must be true. Look at me. I'm a rebel. Smoking in the house. Fuck yeah, everybody. Well, you know, Ampianac, here's the thing. Here's what makes people feel safe is, number one, if you share some vulnerabilities that aren't really substantial vulnerabilities. Like if you're going to take on a leadership capacity, remember advice that an ENFJ gave me one time, which I took to heart. Anytime somebody says something that seems insightful to me, I tend to remember. ENFJ told me one time, good leaders make people feel safe. And helped me to understand some of my limitations, my natural limitations in terms of leadership. Because I don't necessarily naturally make people feel safe. I've been called intimidating by people before too. And right, that cross shot made you all feel safe, of course. The thing is, you've got to figure out what it is that people find intimidating about you and why. So, for some people, they're intimidated simply because they see you as too instrumental, perhaps, in your dealings with them. Like, he seems somebody who, if I do something wrong, I might be criticized. If I do something in an inefficient way, it's going to be pointed out. He's not going to care about how I look in front of other people. That's typically the critique of ENTJ. So I would say one way I don't make people feel safe. Okay. I mean, it depends on the context, I guess. I hopefully make Rachel feel safe. I try my best to. By my gaming skills, no, they're not intimidated by gaming skills. That's for sure. The only people who I think, would really critique me as intimidating are people who don't, people are sometimes intimidated in the sense that they don't really want to express their positions around me if they think I might disagree with them because they think I'm going to demand some sort of like justifications. It really doesn't work like that with me. But I think people are wrongfully intimidated by me. Like, well, the thing is, here's the thing, Ampianac. If you, like me, are somebody who periodically calls out wrongness and busts chops, people who are uncertain about certain things are unlikely to talk about those things around you for fear that you're going to do the same thing to them. What people don't necessarily understand is if I'm calling out somebody's wrongness and busting their chops, what you're seeing is deep along a fairly long process by which they have failed multiple times in multiple ways before you see me busting their chops. And you're nowhere close to that, whoever you are. You've not done anything wrong. Whatever you think you're worried about you're doing wrong, I'm not even aware of it, don't care about it, would never bother calling it out, all that kind of shit, But if you're just watching me in action, calling some other person out, you go, I don't want that to happen to me. And that's perfectly understandable. And of course, I can't expect other people to understand the metrics by which I make the determination as to whether or not to call somebody out. I know you don't wish them bad things, Ampianac. That's the struggle for ENTJs and ESTJs alike. They see a lot of times how others can have a better life, so to speak, and want to help. And others will often feel as though they're interfering in an unwanted fashion and not necessarily even appreciate when they do help, Rachel says she finds me smart and she finds that was intimidating. And now you realize that it's just fancier words for the same thing. You know? The explanation is that you have clarity. Other people don't necessarily have clarity. I have clarity. You know, I have a strangely ambiguous clarity, obviously, but when you are clear on who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it and your positions and stuff like that, and the ENTJs tend to be clear on that. People who lack clarity, there's not just people who lack clarity, there's some people who resent clarity, you know? Sarah, that does sound a little scary. Hello, Sarah. My name's Bob. I'm here to court you, but have chosen to write it in a letter rather than speak to you in person, so that you can simply read this letter and inform me as to your feelings, whether or not they reciprocate my own or not. Cedric Beachy. Cedric Beachy has developed a certain technique in the chat, which is by putting a wonder face after statements, he figures that adequately softens them or something. Well, good to know, Cedric. Rachel didn't say I was intelligent. She said she found me intelligent and found that intimidating. I don't think she finds it intimidating anymore. A lot of people like that aspect of me, that I'm good with words, quick with words, good with ideas, stuff like that, that I present them, things that are ideationally challenging or interesting. A lot of people around here like that because they don't find that the world really engages them on that in that area very much. I'm sure you do have more clarity now because of the damages incurred, Isaiah Rude. Yeah, I think they do have a causal link. That is an interesting stat, Brittany. Thank you for sharing that. 389 in his live stream. Wow. I have 16, 15. Well, you know, I'm no Frank James. I'm just little old host Eric. It's weird being me, you know? It is. It's weird being me in this environment of typology community and feeling like, you know, in some sense I can walk around swinging a big dick, and in some sense I can't. And both those things are concurrently true. Like, on one level, Frank James is swinging a dick that is 38 times bigger than mine. On another level, I feel like, you know, I still understand everything best. So I don't know. It's a weird kind of contradiction. What's the best way to live and die? Well, the best way to live is in coordination with your destiny. The best way to die is in coordination with your destiny. Like, I would have been upset a while ago at Hambo's shallow, pathetic insults. Now I see them for the metaphysical, harmless snowballs that they are. FE3rd is weird. Oh, that's some classic ENTP there. Isaiah Rude. That's classic. I like it. Smells like tomato bisque soup. I just want to hear your opinions on things because they're often atypical. I do have atypicality as one of my attributes. Thank you for noting that. I'm talking about Jupiter, but we're here. Oh, he's talking about Jupiter. Well, I'm not talking about Jupiter, but now I am. Now I'm talking about Jupiter. That's how powerful Frank James is. He can make me talk about Jupiter from afar. Jupiter, it's a big planet. It's like boom, bow, just big as hell. You see it. It's so big. Okay. So I have to like stop making enemies intentionally? Yeah, kind of. Okay, ham bone. It's pretty good expression there. That's pretty. That's pretty good. That is pretty good turn of phrase. I got to give you some points for that one. Isaiah Hambone has now accused you of boofing your own ontology. I could live stream his live stream. He's expressed being confused by the popularity too. We saw it. I'm not confused by his popularity. I get why he's popular. He's good. Back before he was nearly this big, I said I predict he's going to win the March Madness that we never finished. I think he's good. He's funny. He's intuitive. You know, he's a smart INFJ who is going with what works, and good for him. You know, I like him. I don't have any problem with Frank James. I'm not surprised he's that popular. Am I surprised I'm not more popular? I don't know. I don't really have any opinion about that, I guess. Like, I can see how I'm awfully it's become an overwhelming dating pool. Like everyone's flirting with each other around Frank James's channel. You know, Talking to Face People's had that going on for quite some time too. A lot of people hook up around here too. So I don't know. I get that I'm not doing stuff that's as NI as he is doing, and therefore it's not as resonant. And I think that's fair and just, I guess. I could be more NI. I'd like to be, but at the moment I'm in this phase, I guess you'd say. Six and seven is BS. Yeah, that's BS. Would that be NI? Yeah, I guess so. Female HP hooked up with 2 TWFP people. That's great, Brittany. I'm glad to hear that. Rachel Lapalosa hooked up with 1. She's still hooked up with him, in fact. It's me. I hate it when I have to pick between live streams. Well, you don't have to pick Cedric Beachy. I'm the only live stream that's really going to be saying your name a whole lot, Cedric Beachy. You know, this live stream, what it's all about you, Cedric Beachy, and Joel Nathan Henry, and Rachel Apalosa, and Brittany, and Hambone, and Ampianek, and everybody who's here. That's who it's about. It's about you. This is the people's live stream. This is the communist live stream of the People's Republic of live streams. Okay? Rach's NI vagina loves Eric's any dick. I agree with you, Brittany. I think you correctly diagnosed our disorder, and vice versa, by the way. Duck. For me, it's like I could speak about anything with anyone if I find it productive, but even when I would be 100% sure that she loves me, I would still find it hard to express my feelings. Just say to her, listen, I'm not a really moist guy, but I want to tell you how I feel about you. And that's why I bought you this piece of pound cake. And then give her a piece of pound cake, and she'll understand. Okay? So that's all you got to do, Ampianek. Just tell her, look, I'm not good about talking about my feelings, but I do have a clear, you're an Augusto Pinochet fan. Well, as old school dictators go, Pinochet is a classic. I'm glad to hear there are still some Pinochet fans out there. You know, he's kind of lost favor, I guess. Anyway, what value is there in discussing feelings? Well, see, that's why I want you to go with my pound cake solution. Basically, anytime if you feel difficult talking to your significant other about, yes, you did sign the contract, Sarah. That's true. I appreciate you signing the contract. If you don't think there's any value in discussing feelings and you want to discuss feelings, then convert your feelings into pound cake. And then every time you wanted to have a feelings conversation, it's just the two of you eating a bunch of pound cake. Right? Now, if you want to say, what value is there in eating pound cake, then you're just crazy. Because everybody likes pound cake. Okay? Does that answer your question, Angantir? Well, good for him. Howdy, y'all. How's everyone preparing for the inevitable pandemic? Ooh, I'm living large here in pandemic-free town. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew about this. You can opt out of the pandemic. You have to opt out, otherwise you're automatically enrolled. But I opted out, so no pandemic for me. How do types deal with negative emotions different? ENTP to ENFP. I don't know how ENFPs deal with negative emotions. I deal with negative emotions by either, well, I mean, if I'm mad, I get mad and I lash out at the world in some fashion, like yell at somebody or make an angry video or whatever. The answer to that question, Jake Hurwitz, is ejaculation. You need to ejaculate, and then you will no longer feel so lustful. Yeah, Rachel's opting out of the pandemic as well. Good. I'm glad to hear that, sweetie. Okay, Ampinek, you're thinking about this too hard. You're teeing this too much. Just go there and be like, hey, can I squeeze your boobie? If she says yes, you're in. If she says no, say, can I ask again later? If she says yes, you're in. If she says no, then forget it. How to best configure that dopamine rush? Ooh. Yeah, if you're an in-person thing, Adderall gets rid of lustful feelings for a little while until you go into incognito mode. You know what? I just gotta kind of rub one out real quick. Well, it depends. Sonetti one. I judged an INTP ENTP debate roundup at Berkeley in JBLD, and the INTP won. The INTP was better, and okay, well, look, Ampinek, if it doesn't work, you can blame it on me. Just tell the lady, listen, if that didn't work, join with me in condemning host Eric for his bad advice. Well, Jake Hurwitz, get a different doctor. What type are you, Jake Hurwitz? You got to find your supervisee type as a doctor. They'll prescribe it for you. You are more likely to work on something if it gives you a good dopamine rush. True. That's why I am. Then you need to find ENFP doctor. You need to find an ENFP doctor, and they will prescribe you your drugs. Because they'll totally buy your bullshit. That's the thing about supervisees. Supervisees buy your bullshit. You're welcome, Ampianek, and I do appreciate that. I do, actually. I tend to be a little scattered. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that we don't get a lot of ENTJs around here necessarily. And typically, I find that they come for specific pieces of information, get those specific pieces of information, and then I never see them So I appreciate that though. The other thing is ENTJs will typically hire me to type them. Why? Because they know I'm the best person to type them. And I'll have one contact with them. It'll be like, I type them. Thank you very much. That's the end if I ever see them. And that's fine. I respect that. Being FI polar, I don't have any problem with that. You're not going to get any sort of FI pushback from me. Yeah. The other thing though is ENTJs don't burn bridges. Unlike ENTPs. ENTPs have a tendency to burn bridges when something, like almost arbitrarily for no reason, when something comes to an end. Might as well burn this bridge. I don't know. It's dumb. That's good, Isaiah Root. I like your doctor. He's my kind of doctor. Now, I'm an ENTP, but not like you. That is true. Cedric Beachy, it's true. I'm an ENTP, but not like you, because I'm an individual person. For example, I'm smoking this filthy, filthy bong right now. Maybe you're not. In fact, I know you're not, because there's only one of these, and it's mine. I don't know. My dad's a gym rat. He's an ESTJ. Could be either one. He's 80 some years old. He still goes to the gym 3 times a week or whatever. Once you got something set into their life, if you're an ESTJ, it's in their life forever. ENTJs are less rut oriented. Which types are more prone to being Machiavellian than others? Probably your TE DOMs, because they tend to frame everything in terms of utility, including human relations. Like, my dad loves me a lot. He also makes it clear to me often that I have to provide usefulness to him, or else, I'm not entitled to anything or whatever. It's weird because, I don't really believe him, frankly. Even when I fail to provide usefulness, he's still a great dad and everything. So, but it's like he can't understand a world in which utility isn't a predominant frame for everybody. I think the same thing can be said for ESTJs, MPNX. It's like, and that's why they're such valuable people in society. TE-DOMs are incredibly valuable. ISFPs can be, I think ISFPs could be good relationship coaches, actually. I don't think they're necessarily good at having relationships themselves, but I think they can see both how both people feel, probably, and what to do about it. I think ISFPs have good insight in that area. The third slot NI, and it's like the alternative to talk therapy for couples. Go get an ISFP relationship coach. Yeah, Isaiah Rude, boy, you really fucking nailed it there. We really are the most useless type. Isaiah Rude, can I get a fist bump on uselessness, please? Oh yeah, uselessness, dog. Pow. Boom. MPNX, you will not catch either Isaiah Rude or me doing push-ups and pull-ups and stuff at home to save time. Okay? Judgmental JJ, fist bump. Word. Horatio La Palosa fist bumps. Word up to uselessness, motherfuckers. Yeah. It's like a lot of people, if they were going to meet as a relationship counselor, it would be like, nah, I have too many words for them. Those people would should go to ISFP relationship counselors, the alternative. You help people feel better. I'm not genuinely useless either. It's a joke to frame ourselves through the SE-DOM frame that sort of predominates the world, or the TE-DOM frame that sort of predominates the world. SE and TE are the two functions that have the most sway in the world. They're both extroverted. One's impactful. The other is solvency-based. Obviously, a lot of people around here don't validate on those metrics very well. So, welcome to the uselessness club. I'm useless. It's okay to be useless. There's nothing wrong with you. Viva uselessness. Okay, well, you're not, you're a little, I guess that's useful. Who's that useful to? Is anybody finding Cedric's push-ups and pull-ups useful? I'm not finding them very useful. Ampinex validating your push-ups and pull-ups. I'm going to go ahead and push up this cigarette to my lips and then pull up a puff of smoke from it. Okay, everybody ready? Join me, please, in some calisthenics. Push up and pull up. Wu Wei Wrong is a beautiful jar. Wrong is priceless porcelain purposelessness. Wu Wei Wrong has got to be beautiful. I don't know who Wu Wei Wrong is, but I like it a lot. Right off the bat, I'm fond of it. It's got a great name for sure. All right, here. For everybody who's down, let's do the whole forearm shiver. Forearm to forearm. Uselessness. Wu Wei Wrong. Sometimes nothing's a pretty cool hand, Lebanese cats, and sometimes it's not. A rare occurrence. Eric stepping on his own ego. Hallelujah. Oh, for goodness sakes, Joel Nathan Henry. I'm not that egotistical. People want me to do battle all the time with them. Who's Wu Wei? Who's Wu Wei Wrong? They've got a great name. I know that. It's because EHBs actively avoid being useful. We find it gross and wasteful of our time. It isn't because we're not capable. No, Isaiah, don't say that out loud. You're not supposed to tell everybody that. Then they're going to make us do shit. God. I'm a specialist on body language of IHPs. I've already given you a lot of specialties. All right, look. If an IHP girl goes like this to you, it's a good sign. Okay? Look for that. Look for that. Yeah, compliment her on the way she thinks. Tell her how smart she is. You are so smart. If there's something I can't solve, I ask you, and you always are so smart and you're able to solve it. And she'll be like, panties will just fall off of her body instantly. They'll just run from her body like her body's on fire. That's how you get an INTP girl, okay? You just tell her that she's so smart and that when you have a problem you can't solve, thank God she's there because she's the only one who can solve those things. She's the only one who's smart enough to do it. And literally, her panties will run from her body as though her body were on fire. True story. True story. I've never actually bedded an INTP girl, but I'm telling you, that's how it works. INTPs love that FE. And if you want to get an ENTP male, one quick and easy way to do it, and you're probably not the right person for that ENTP, but a good, easy way to get them. Start cooking them food and bringing them cookies and stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, "Who are you, mommy? Mommy?" That's why I think probably a lot of ESFJs end up with ENTPs. Neither of them know what's right. One of them ignores an eye, one of them's polar to it. ENTPs are extremely susceptible to ESFJ shenanigans. Okay, I need a short break from the front of the camera. So I'm going to go stand over here and finish the cigarette. Well, I got to work from 6 to 8 tonight, you guys. It's like I'll probably have to be lifting bags of lead again. Like I go there, they just make me lift these bags of lead from one spot to another. The next time I go, they make me move them back for no reason. Well, I would say that at the moment I feel mixed emotions. Mixed emotions. Is throwing out directions before making microwave food a TE polar thing? Yes, Darlene, it is. The most classic TE polar move. I'm going to tell a story from my previous relationship, which was also with a TE polar person, who told me one day, the freezer's too warm. The ice cream's starting to melt. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll look at it, and I forget to look at it, of course. The next day, she tells me, the freezer's too warm. The ice cream's starting to melt. And I'm like, all right. Eventually, I look at it. Of course, the freezer, on the front of the fridge and freezer, there's a temperature button for the freezer. Temperature up, temperature down. So, I push the temperature down button a few degrees, right, to make it colder. And that solves the problem. And eventually I ask her, Kimberly, why didn't you just push the button down, the temperature button on the freezer down? It's on the front of the freezer. It says right there. It's like temperature down, up. And she said, well, I tried looking on the internet to find out what temperature it was supposed to be, and I couldn't find it for our brand of freezer. So I just gave up. Okay, so that's TE polar. That is some TE polar right there, right? First of all, what the problem is. The freezer's too warm. Now, obviously, the solution is going to involve turning down the temperature on the freezer. But if you're TE polar, you're not sure how that's going to play out, right? Like, if I push down the temperature on the freezer too much, maybe something bad happens, or I don't know. So I'm going to look it up, and it's probably specific to this brand of freezer, which of course is, why would it be specific to the brand of freezer? I don't know. She can't find the answer to the question, how cold is the freezer of this brand of freezer supposed to be? And so she gives up. That's TE polar. And Rachel, I'm sorry to share stories of my previous relationship, but unfortunately, as an SI user, all I have to go with in general is my repertoire of examples of things, you know? And so I can't just jettison all my good examples of TE Polar just because they involve my previous partner. I'm sorry about that. I feel like not a good boyfriend when I talk about my previous relationship. But, you know, it's like I'm really talking about the cognitive functions. So, anyway. That's a good point, Eric Moore. There should be a button you put on Google that says, I'm TE Polar. Right. She's never going to learn it at all, is the answer to that thing. And that's why it's important for ENTPs to exist, because we countervalue TE. I don't, no, it doesn't, Rachel. You're a perfect girlfriend. You're the perfect girlfriend. I didn't mean to create any sort of discord between us at all. I got a little bit of like, from that last comment of yours, a little bit of a, and so I quickly scrambled, as is my wont. No, baby. We talk about each other's past. I mean, we talk about our past successfully. It's been a problem for me in past relationships. It's not a problem for me with us, but I guess I went NI over SI there. Okay, good. Thank you. Right, exactly, Isaiah Root. That's countervalue TE. I have no problem just doing the thing for Rachel, and I am grateful that she is willing to let me do the thing for her and appreciative of me doing it. It makes me be worthwhile all of a sudden. Like, hey, I did something that made her happy. Good for me, you know? That's how it's supposed to be. That's not what I got before, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's like Rachel is happy enough to delegate TE things to me that need to be TE'd. I'm happy enough to do them. She doesn't feel the need to be like, yeah, like, oh, there's my usefulness. Exactly. Thank you, Isaiah Root. I feel very useful around Rachel. I feel like a hero. Like when we successfully got Rachel's phone back from the lift in Berkeley, I felt like a hero for putting that little extra bit of SETE into it, you know? Whereas in a previous incarnation of TE Polar, I would have gotten, why didn't you get it faster? You know? Which is very different experience. It's like, why didn't you get it faster? It makes me, is a relationship killer. Whereas, thank you so much for making that happen is a relationship builder. Now it's time for bong rips. If you have a bag of weed and a bong, or a pipe or whatever, and you're feeling so inclined, now is designated weed smoking time. So go ahead and bust it out. If you got a friend or a neighbor nearby, go ahead and offer them a hit as well. Okay, so that's what time it is. What time it is? It's bong rip time. That's Winston's mom. You should only chat amongst yourselves if you yourself are not endowed with bong rips to be taking, because you could take some bong rips right now. It would be fine too. It's 3:34, which means it's within the hour around 4:20, which counts as 4:20. It's unfair to make 4:20 be just 1 minute. So I've decided that for the full hour around 420, that it's say 321 to 4. I'm sorry, no, it's not quite within the hour yet. Okay, what would an hour be? No, it's an hour on both sides. Okay, it's no, it shouldn't be that long. Yeah, okay, that's fine. 321 to 519. Okay, 321 to 519 p.m. every day, not a.m. But AM counts too, but that's fine. We're not talking AM right now. We're talking AMs for another day. It's another question for another day. Right now we're talking PMs. Any time between 321 and 519 it counts as, yeah, it counts as 420. INFJ, weed is the worst drug ever for me. I wonder if that's personal or if there could be a type generalization there. I would say that's personal. Because bye, Ampianic, you go do something. Whatever that something is, you do it. No, there are plenty of INFJs who smoke weed. Rachel smokes weed. She's not INFJ. It is 3:35 here. It's 3:36 now. It is 2 hours ahead. You 2 hours ahead. It is currently 3:36 on the ppm. The ppm. The ppm. 3:36 on the ppm. Yeah. Hey, look, Ethan McDonald's back with concerns about his type. Shocking. At 1 p.m., it becomes 13L. Add 12 to the afternoon time. I always thought it was add 2. I wanted military time. No, I'm talking about what counts as 420, Isaiah Rude. 420 is anything between 321 and 519. That's 420. Okay, that's the 420 hour. It's really 2 hours, but you see why it needs to be 2 hours to properly have a 420. Do you understand now the importance of this thing I'm talking about? I hope so. So if anybody says to me, Eric, why are you smoking so much weed right now? And it's between 321 and 519. Then you say, well, it's because it's 420. Typology community is coping with me being ENFP or INFP. Which one am I? My SE polar. Now you have 3 live streams to pick from. Well, which live stream is going to pull a card for you, Cedric Beachy? Only this one. That makes it super important. It's the card you get, Cedric Beachy. The Fool. Number 0. You the Fool, dog. That's a good card, though. It's good. It means you're full of youthful spirit and wonder. You're consumed with youthful wonder. I don't know. I think there's a couple different explanations for that, Rachel, as to why it's called, why 420 is a significant number. A few different explanations. I don't think there's anything clear about it as to which one is correct. So I'm not sure why it's called 420. If anybody knows, we'd be happy to hear the information. Isaiah Rude. Piao. Ace of Pentacles. You get the Ace of Pentacles, Isaiah Rude. Congratulations. That makes you a winner. Just when you were beginning to think you were a loser, wrong. You are still a winner. Bye, Cedric. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Sarah, ISFP. What do you get? Piao. The flag card. The flag card. That means it's just a deck of cards. Don't take it too seriously. Sarah Eyes P. Joel Nathan Henry. You get this one. What is it? Wheel of Fortune. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Joel Nathan Henry. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Eric Moore. What are you going to get? Let's find out. Piao. Knight of Pentacles. The K is silent, so you don't got to worry about that if you were worried. Knight of Pentacles for you, Eric Moore. Knight of Pentacles. Angantier, you're next. You're next to get a card. You're the next one who's going to get one. What's it going to be? Could be anything. It's this one. The Lovers. Oh, Angantier. Getting your love on. Yeah. With a swaying motion. Ooh, la. To the law. To the law. To the Lizall. You see the boobies on that one, huh? Look at that. Ooh la la. Okay, good job, Angantier. You scored. Well, you know, Rachel, we have the benefit of enjoying 420s in either time zone because we're connected by way of our weed smoking souls. And also we have the same strain. So that means that anytime it's 420 here, it's 420 there. And anytime it's 420 there, it's 420 here too. So we get double 420s. It's pretty cool. This one for you, Rachel Apollosa. 3 of Pentacles. Look at this paper that I'm holding. Look at this paper in my hand. There's an old guy with a big beard and a nut, and I'm holding this paper in my hand. That's the card that you get, Rachel. Rachel Apollosa gets the 3 of Pentacles. Let's find out what the 3 of Pentacles means. I'm curious now. 3 of Pentacles. My beloved Rachel Apollosa got the 3 of Pentacles. Let's hope it's the best card in the tarot deck. Apprenticeship, learning, growing, hard work paying off, collaboration, goals, determination. All right, Rachel. Sounds like you're a real go-getter. Angantier, I second that motion. I do. What type would I be if I weren't an EHP? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe an INFJ. Piao. I have pulled this card for myself. The 10 of Pentacles. Yes, the 10 of Pentacles. Let's see what the 10 of Pentacles says. Solid foundations, happiness, closeness to family, domestic harmony, being conventional, settling down. Righto. Right on the old money-o. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Righto. Do I think that smoking weed makes me use my functions differently? Well, I would say that in general, it tends to settle me down into a given task. It makes me a little bit less, what you would call scattered, or a little more satisfied at doing something specific instead of just meowing. In some cases like this, like when I sit down to live stream, I also sit down to smoke weed because I know that that's going to make me more settled into the activity, more satisfied by it, just find it more fun, etc. Chris, this card's for you. Uh-oh. You got the 8 of Swords. Looks like you're waiting, a little bit worried, a little bit waiting, and a little bit worried. You're waiting and you're worried. Let's see what the 8 of Swords says. That's the 8? Yeah, 8. Feeling trapped, self-inflicted restriction, helplessness, focusing on the negative, anxiety. I'm here to tell you something, though. I'm here to say some words to you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. Now, Ethan McDonald, you need a card. You need a card for me. My 7 is showing. It does periodically. I got to tuck it back in so it doesn't wiggle around. Okay, Winston's mom. No, Ethan's McDonald. Ethan's McDonald. That's right. Ethan McDonald, not Ethan's McDonald. You don't have a possessive first name. This card's for you, Ethan. The 7 of walking around. No, Eric, that's not the 7 of walking around. That's the 7 of wands, also known as the 7 of rods or the 7 of sticks. Standing up for beliefs, protective, determined, taking the high road, being scapegoated, stamina. You're feeling your stamina, Ethan McDonald. Congratulations. All right, here we go. We're talking about Winston's mom. Gonna pull a call for Winston's mom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Gonna pull that card. There it is. Here it is. Oh, yeah, you can feel that one. It's got that Winston's mom resonance to it. The Fool. It looks like you're beginning a new journey, Winston's mom. A journey that may carry you as far away as this card. The King of Cups. Who is the King of Cups? Let's find out. Let's look at that. Who is the King of Cups? We'll find out for you right now. Compassionate, finding balance between heart and mind, affectionate, emotionally balanced, easygoing, tolerant. I guess you are. What's the Fool mean? Let's see. The Fool. New beginnings, freedom, originality, adventure, travel, foolishness, spontaneity, and youth, leading you to the King of Cups. Compassionate, finding balance between heart and mind, affectionate, emotionally balanced, easygoing, and tolerant. Congratulations, Winston's mom. That sounds like a wonderful journey of growth and learning. You learned today that a group of ferrets is known as a business? I also learned today that a group of ferrets is known as a business. A business of ferrets? That's fantastic. I've never heard that before either. Thank you for sharing that with me, Rachel. Winston's mom, I'm surprised I somehow got lost in the mix. I did not know that. Maria Sanchez wants card. Yeah, I'm never going to forget that either. A business of ferrets. It's for you, Maria Sanchez. Pia. Strength. You gonna go up next to lions. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sitting there shy and sitting there why? The lion's gonna bite your head if you're not careful. You better have plenty of strength. That's the message of this card for you, Maria Sanchez. You're a lion taming woman in a yellow dress. Live the dream. Let's see what it actually says. I'm going to look on Eric's Tarot Guide made by Octavia Sanchez. Strength. Inner strength, bravery, confidence, compassion, and overcoming self-doubt. Those are wonderful, wonderful things for you, Maria Sanchez. That self-doubt you've been wallowing in, good news. It is hereby overcome. Thus spoke the tarot. There, I removed your self-doubt from you and threw it up into the air over there someplace. It splattered on my wall. I have to clean it up later. It's messy. You got some messy self-doubt, Maria Sanchez. But I am a metaphysician who is empowered to remove self-doubt from others when it is unwarranted, as your self-doubt is unwarranted, and I have thus removed it. Where is Octavia Silva? I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm not going to lie, it breaks my heart. But you know what? That's where I draw the line. It's true. That's where I draw the line. Right there. If you are always wondering where does Eric draw the line, that's where. Right there. Right there, mister. Right there. Yeah, you can see that confidence. You can see the confidence brimming in him already. That's the power of the tarot. Right there, Nadia Sanchez. That's the power of the tarot. It's pretty impressive. I think he might be Gav. So I think probably doesn't mind it. I think he is. I think he indicated that to me one time. I mean, I don't know if that means you're okay with that necessarily, but it seems like you'd be more okay with that, right? Or is that wrong? You know? Am I wrong about that? Do you think that a gay male would be more okay with being mistaken in the chat for being female than a straight male? Is that too controversial a question to ask? I'm curious. Who has an opinion about that? If somebody in the chat is misidentified, who's male, is misidentified as female by people reading the chat, are they less likely to be offended by that misidentification if they're gay than if they're straight? This is a serious question. I want to know the answer to it. Does anybody know the answer? So then the answer is overall yes, right? It's an interesting question, right? It's like, and everyone's kind of skittish about it. Like nobody really wants to answer the question either. It's a curious question. I wonder if they've answered that question on Quora. That's a good question for Quora. Really? In Asia, being masculine is considered gay, but in the West, being feminine is considered gay? That's interesting. The question is, if you're a male and you've been talking in the chat, and people in the chat wonder whether you or think that you are female, and then you go like, no, I'm not female, I'm male. Are you more likely to be okay with that if you're gay than if you're straight? Admiral Farragut? Is that a real school name? It sounds like a made-up name. Admiral Farragut. It sounds like either a made-up name or a name of a vegetable. Oh, that's no. That's an Admiral Farragut. That's one of the most delicious kinds of Farraguts. Don't you agree? I'm just curious. We had an instance that caused me to wonder about it because that happened, So we care whether he was offended or not. It was an accident, Nobody intentionally did that. Okay, but regardless of all that, Winston's mom, we need to breed a vegetable that we name a Farragut and then there'd be a strain of that vegetable that's referred to as the Admiral Farragut. All right, because it definitely sounds more like a vegetable than anything else. I think we can all agree on that. Things that sound like vegetables should be vegetables. We can also all agree on that. So therefore, we're going to need to breed a vegetable that we're going to call the Admiral Farragut. That's our moral duty, I think it's fair to say. I am still alive. I'm also still alive. The Aubergine Farragut. The Admiral Aubergine Farragut. Calling it an Aubergine Farragut eggplant is redundant. You shouldn't call something an Aubergine eggplant any more than you should call something an ATM machine. Okay? The Admiral Kumquat is the nickname for my scrotum. So that's already taken, Eric Moore. I didn't know it until just right now, but ferret goes under the roots and pushes them up by the aubergine. Hey, hey, hey! Don't push me by the aubergine. What are you doing there, mister? Hey, hey, that's the Admiral Kumquat. You ain't gonna be pushing me up by the aubergine, mister. Well, thanks, baby. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. We can use ferrets for Farragut aubergine. So obviously, a Farragut aubergine, an Admiral Farragut aubergine, is a part of a vegetable that grows underneath the ground that's hidden. So we have to have ferrets find them, right? Probably it's a kind of plant. We should have a big kind that produces a um, like a distraction plant, basically plant flack. So it's like it makes a plant over here, but it keeps its vegetable way over here. And the ferret can track by smelling the roots from the flax plant back to the Admiral Farragut aubergine. Asperger's syndrome. You should have the word Asperger's in it somewhere too. Anyway, yeah, don't grab me by the kumquat and don't press up on my aubergine. Are two bumper stickers I have on my car, actually. I don't know. I don't know. What's going on here? We need a phone call from whom? My dad. Hi, Dad. I am glad to hear it. All right. All right. Well, cool. I'm glad you made it up there, and have a good time, and make sure everything's kosher around here. Okay. Thanks. I'll tell her. Yeah. When I see her. All right. Bye. My dad told me to give his best to the cat. Give my best to Pee Pee. I said, okay, I'll tell her. I appreciate that. Memories. Nothing more than memories. Is it that song? Is it the feeling song and the memory song the same? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. What do you mean traps so popular? What are traps? I don't understand what traps are. Yeah, I don't need pause really. You know what jazz standard I like a lot? Oh, I see. Angantyr. No, that's not what we're talking about with that guy, Octavio Silva. His name's male. He never presented himself as a chick at all. Nothing about him presented himself as a chick. I don't know why his mom thought he was a chick. Yeah, I do have laughing eyes, apparently. I've been told that. What is meant by riffing? I hear that word quite often. As the guy said, I don't do it very well yesterday. Riffing means building off a series of jokes or something. Like Rachel and I in the car, we should riff a lot more than we do. I haven't really given her the space to, out of just sort of a general unnecessary and undeserved like fear, because it's a tricky thing. And anyway, but like we did it in Hawaii at one point. She interviewed me about something, and I was playing a character explaining what happened or something. I don't know. I'd like to give her more space and to do more of it, because we work together beautifully. There's a lot of potential in this relationship that we haven't even really begun to mine yet. Like she and I can work together beautifully in a lot of different things, but we've been too busy like being in love to get around to that. Really, I guess. Would you say that's correct? I think we will get around to it at some point. Cloud. Oh. Oh. That's funny. Oh, Cloud. Are we down to that? Is that our provocation of the day? Yeah. Looks like you got her. She does want to go out sometime, apparently. It's a little surprising. But Cloud, here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. I always don't expect you the same. I wish they would make a new FF game. Final Fantasy, probably. This INFP E6 guy told me that he doesn't find me very interesting, probably because I don't do much feelings talk. Well, possibly. Ethan, there's an old Jewish saying that alcohol loosens the tongue to say what is in the heart. I have the unfortunate tendency to ask random strangers to teach me to dance. That's what's in my heart. Would Hermes be a good archetype for ENTP? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what Hermes was like. So I don't know. People are upset that Tifa's boobs look smaller. I don't blame them for being upset about that. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to be upset about. Hermes is TI. Yeah, I guess I'd have to know the story of it. No one can criticize others like an INFP can. Well, that's what you feel as an ENTP. You feel that the best criticizers are INFPs because they are our they are our supervisors. Mercury is communication, huh? Maybe then. Maybe. A certain person got upset when several of us agreed that she is ENFP. INFP. INFPs don't care about others' feelings. They only care about their own. It sounds pretty selfish. I don't think that's true, Ethan McDonald. I don't think it's true. There's a bunch of concepts behind it. Crossroads, exchanges, disseminating ideas, etc., etc. Behind what? In tarot astrology, the houses are stages of our life. So the fifth house is the house of fun and games, extroverted intuition. I think INFPs are just more aware of their feelings initially, as I understand them. They always have something to say about my thing to say. And it's fairly mean, which is easy to respond to. So it's like a soft punch in the face to remind me the flashy any doesn't mean effective any necessarily. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, Hermes, right. Because they're SE polar, Ethan. That's why. Well, I guess that burdens you with not being one then, huh? Cloud. Okay. I think I'm going to end this live stream. I got to work at 6 o'clock. Online tests are yeah, Cedric. Online tests are yeah. Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.